The next inductee for this year's Hall of Fame is Laurie Dotto, the Director of Government and External Affairs from Abbott, Canada. And I'm pleased to call up to make the presentation the President and Chief Executive Officer from Solvay, Mr. Graham Jobson. Graham?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege today to introduce Laurie Dotto. Laurie grew up in Sudbury, Ontario, and completed his undergraduate science degree with a major in biochemistry at Sudbury's Laurentian University. And working in the pharmaceutical industry for more than a quarter of a century, he's been able to witness significant evolution in drug reimbursement and government influence on our business. And today, bodies such as the provincial boards, the PMPRB, and the Canadian Agency for Drugs and Technologies in Health, they all exert an increasingly significant impact on our industry through the pricing of medications and determining the accessibility of medicines to the public at large. Laurie must be stoic because he has the unenviable task of dealing with these issues on a daily basis. And since he holds a position of Director of Government and External Affairs for Montreal-based Abbott Laboratories, he's right in the center of things. Now, Laurie can contrast the present-day reality to the time in 1981 when he began in the pharmaceutical business. Then there were sales positions and marketing positions, not the myriad number of new customer positions that exist today. And Laurie's first job in the industry was that of a sales representative in Ottawa for the Montreal-based company Nordic Pharmaceuticals. He can recall his early achievements as a sales representative for Nordic with the launch of Cardizem, the calcium channel blocker, which became the first $100 million product in Canada. His success led to promotion for him to regional sales manager for Western Canada. Then later on, he moved into Nordic's head office, where he headed the firm's continuing health education department, and as a product manager, he relaunched Glucophage, an oral hypoglycemic, and was able to triple the sales of the product in 2 years. With the movement towards mergers in the industry, a trend that saw Nordic absorbed by a larger corporate entity, Laurie chose to travel down Highway 401, and he assumed the job of Group Product Manager at Syntex in Toronto. And then later, he took the position of Marketing Manager in Eli Lilly. Having myself lived in Montreal for 7 years and Toronto for 3 years, I can understand the longing he had for Montreal that prompted Laurie to travel back to that city and take a position with Abbott. I think also part of it was the fact that he is an avid kayaker, and he would much prefer the challenging waves of the Lachine Rapids in Montreal to paddling on Lake Ontario. Since returning to Montreal in 1995 and joining Abbott, he has held several positions, including Director of Sales and Marketing, Business Unit Director for Abbott's Gastrointestinal and Urology Business, and Director of Business Development. And one of the focal points of his career since joining Abbott was handling the company's acquisition of Knoll Pharmaceuticals at the turn of the century. Laurie has not only made a major contribution to our industry, but perhaps more importantly, it's what Laurie does outside of work that makes him quite unique. Inspired by his daughter's volunteer work in Central Africa, which she began as a teenager, Laurie has dedicated many vacation days over the last 5 years to perform humanitarian work in Malawi in Central Africa. Through their family charity, Laurie and his daughter Stephanie have contributed to the building of schools, have brought medicines to Malawi, and have worked on other health and educational projects for the population. And if you're just wondering which should be your next charity to support, and you've got a $20 note burning a hole in your pocket, then if you were to slip it to Laurie on the way out, you know that all $20 would go to the charity and none would go to the administration. Tax receipts are unlikely. But in addition, Laurie has been instrumental in coordinating millions of dollars worth of product donations for his employer, Abbott, through Health Partners International of Canada. So Laurie, on behalf of the healthcare community and the healthcare industry, thank you for your significant contributions. Congratulations.
Bonjour à tous. Mr. Chairman, fellow inductees, colleagues and friends, ladies and gentlemen, my sincere appreciation to the sponsors, Chronicle companies, Pangea, IMS, and STAI, for bestowing this honor on me. And thank you so much, Graham, for that introduction. I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention the gentleman who hired me into this industry, who's not here today, Mr. Jean-Paul Marsan, who gave me my first job as a sales representative in Ottawa. He told me that they were looking for somebody. Initially, I applied when I was living in Northern Ontario, and I was applying for a position up there, and he told me that I didn't fit the profile because A, I wasn't married, B, I didn't have a mortgage, and C, he thought that I was too young. So they offered me instead a position in the city of Ottawa, which I was very pleased to take, and so that's where I started my career, and I thank Jean-Paul for that. Also mention that one of my early mentors is here today, Mr. Chris Newman, who is one of my early marketing mentors. Thank you very much, Chris. And I also would be remiss if I didn't mention one of our early Hall of Fame people, Mr. Angelo Botter, who was the one who brought me back to Montreal. So I would just say a couple of words. Having spent my entire career in the pharmaceutical industry, it's truly an honor to be recognized for this. We work in an industry that has been mentioned many times this morning, has seen a lot of change in the past 25 years, and we're going to continue to see more change and at a faster rate. Many of you here today will be in different positions in the next 5 to 10 years, probably positions that don't exist today. In an industry rooted in science, dependent on innovation, and with commercial success driven through sound marketing and sales strategies, we are indeed fortunate to work in an industry that is somewhat recession-free. I feel very privileged to have worked in this industry, an industry that supports better health and saves lives. But I would ask each of you to consider how we could do more in our own way. What other ways can we think about giving back to our society? But perhaps consider giving back earlier in your career and not waiting until you get to your retirement years. I think to truly appreciate our vibrant industry and more fully value the medicines that we're all involved with, I encourage each of you to go out into your communities or perhaps even other parts of the world, the developing world. And in a world of so much need, think about and consider how you can make a difference by volunteering and sharing many of the experiences that you have. Together, I believe that we can use our collective knowledge of healthcare, medicines, marketing, and sales to make this world a better place. And although my wife Karen is not here today, I would share this award with her, and I thank you very much for this honor. Merci. Bonjour.